Have you ever wondered what happens when a game developer dares to play copycat with a blockbuster title? Buckle up, because today we're diving into the world of video game clones that caused a massive uproar. From shameless imitations to legal showdowns, these 10 games took inspiration to an entirely new level, sparking controversy and chaos in the gaming community. Stay tuned as we uncover which clones crossed the line and why they created such a stir. Number 10. Enchanted Portals. Enchanted Portals stirred controversy by drawing intense comparisons to Cuphead. At first glance, it's easy to see why. The game mirrors Cuphead's distinct visual style and gameplay mechanics. Released in 2023, Enchanted Portals earned a reputation for being a near-carbon copy, with its animations and character designs strikingly similar to those of the acclaimed Cuphead. While some fans defend it, arguing that it brings unique elements such as creatively designed bosses, like a Beethoven-inspired villain and a ray gun-wielding cow, the overall execution falls short. The game lacks the polish and precision of its inspiration, feeling clunky and repetitive. Despite the criticism, the hope remains that future games will draw inspiration from Cuphead without seeming hastily put together. Number 9. Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact faced an uphill battle from the start, being labeled as a Breath of the Wild clone due to its open-world design and similar mechanics, like climbing and stamina wheels. Initially, many gamers were quick to dismiss it as a mere copycat. However, Genshin Impact has evolved into a massive success, becoming a billion-dollar franchise on both mobile and console platforms. Its impressive growth and fanbase have overshadowed its early criticisms. Over time, Genshin Impact has carved out its own identity, offering a blend of engaging gameplay and expansive content that goes beyond its initial comparisons. Even for those who aren't fans of mobile or gacha games, Genshin Impact has proven to be a noteworthy title in its own right. Number 8. War Z. This game was a blatant attempt to ride on the coattails of DayZ's explosive success. DayZ had revolutionized multiplayer gaming on PC with its immersive survival experience, captivating gamers worldwide. War Z, however, failed spectacularly to live up to its inspiration. The title felt like a hodgepodge of poorly executed elements, hastily cobbled together to cash in on DayZ's popularity. Its rushed development resulted in a game that felt more like an unfinished beta than a polished product. Players were left frustrated, prompting Valve to pull War Z from Steam due to its numerous flaws. Adding insult to injury, the developers behind War Z had previously been involved in creating Big Rigs, over-the-road racing, widely recognized as one of the worst games ever made. The connection between these two titles should come as no surprise. Number 7. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. This game stirred up quite a buzz for its clear attempt to mimic Nintendo's Super Smash Bros. The concept of a platform fighter, which Super Smash Bros. Had pioneered, was repackaged by PlayStation with their own roster of characters. The game featured icons like Kratos, Nathan Drake, and Parappa the Rapper battling it out in arenas inspired by PlayStation's beloved franchises. Despite its efforts, PlayStation All-Stars was ultimately seen as a less impressive imitation rather than a groundbreaking innovation. Sony even cheekily included Super Smash Bros. As a search tag in their promotional videos, underscoring their ambition to replicate Nintendo's success. While it garnered some fan support, it never quite managed to capture the enduring appeal of its predecessor and now holds a modest place in video game history. Number 6. Gleamlight. At number 6, we spotlight Gleamlight, a 2019 release that sparked controversy for its striking resemblance to the acclaimed game Hollow Knight. From its visual style to its gameplay mechanics, Gleamlight was accused of being a hollow imitation, failing to win over critics and gamers alike. Nintendo Life, for instance, dismissed it as an appallingly bad clone. Despite the criticisms, Gleamlight's attempt to capture the Metroidvania magic of Hollow Knight was a bold move. The lingering anticipation for Hollow Knight's sequel has made Gleamlight's similarities even more apparent. It's a reminder of the high standards set by the original and the challenges faced by games aiming to replicate its success. Number 5. Saints Row. Saints Row emerges from its humble origins with a reputation for borrowing heavily from the Grand Theft Auto franchise. Initially, it was just another open-world crime game, overshadowed by the colossal success of GTA. Critics and fans alike labeled it as a copycat, but Saints Row had its own charm. Unlike its inspiration, it introduced a distinct world filled with unique gangsters and a flair for outrageous fun. As the series evolved, it carved out its own identity with customizable characters and wild antics. While it faced criticism for its origins, Saints Row eventually set itself apart from GTA and became a fan favorite. Despite recent attempts to revive its glory, the legacy of Saints Row remains a testament to its enduring appeal. Number 4. Palworld. Palworld makes waves at number 4 on our list. This game has stirred quite a buzz for its striking resemblance to Pokémon. Imagine a survival game like Rust, but with the added twist of catching and training creatures, except these aren't called Pokémon. They're pals. While the core concept involves capturing and leveling up these creatures, some early critics pointed out that Palworld's designs seemed eerily similar to Pokémon characters, with accusations that artists might have merely traced Pokémon and altered them slightly. Though some of these claims have been debunked, it's clear that Palworld drew heavy inspiration from Pokémon. Despite this, the game has carved out its own niche, blending survival elements with creature collection. Nintendo's response was to indicate they might investigate, but so far, no significant action has been taken. Meanwhile, Palworld continues to thrive in early access, offering a fun, albeit rough around the edges, Pokémon-like experience. Number 3. Foam Stars. At number 3, we have Foam Stars, Square Enix's bold attempt to capture the spirit of Splatoon, but with a frothy twist. Instead of squid-like characters, players in Foam Stars are regular folks armed with foam-shooting weaponry. The game's core mechanics involve covering the battlefield with colorful foam to hinder opponents and gain tactical advantages. While Foam Stars introduced some innovative features, like building foam towers for strategic height and a unique art style, it ultimately felt like a carbon copy of Splatoon. The game's concept had potential, but it failed to captivate players and faded into obscurity. One bizarre detail that stood out was the game's lore, explaining that characters generate foam from their bodies, a choice that many found odd and unnecessary. In an overcrowded market, Foam Stars struggled to make a lasting impact, proving that even with a creative twist, a game can still miss the mark. Number 2. Chinese ripoff of Team Fortress 2. Next up is a game that stirred up quite a stir, Final Combat, a blatant imitation of Team Fortress 2 crafted by some audacious developers. This game makes no attempt to hide its inspiration. It's a full-on clone that echoes Team Fortress 2's vibrant universe, but with far less charm and polish. The resemblance is uncanny, from the maps to the character outfits, right down to the weapon designs. Final Combat even tried to replicate those signature Meet the Classes videos, though they fall dramatically short of the original's captivating animations and humor. Released in 2011, this game is a glaring example of how imitation often lacks the soul of its inspiration, leading to a gameplay experience that felt both uninspired and buggy. It's clear that the creators were aiming to capitalize on Team Fortress 2's success, but their effort was more of a facepalm than a triumph. Number 1. The Great Gianna Sisters. Topping the list is the notorious Great Gianna Sisters, a game so closely mimicking Super Mario Bros. That it almost feels like a legal challenge in itself. This game isn't just similar, it's a near-carbon copy with a few tweaks to avoid blatant copyright infringement. While it was marketed as a girly version of Mario, the game's design and gameplay borrow heavily from the Mushroom Kingdom's beloved adventure. Released for various platforms like the Amiga and Commodore 64, it was quickly pulled from shelves after Nintendo's lawyers stepped in. Despite its hasty disappearance, the game managed to garner a following due to its striking resemblance to Mario and its notably catchy soundtrack. The levels, though slightly different in color, mimicked Mario's design so closely that it was almost comical. Even the name switch from Mario to Gianna seemed like a flimsy attempt to dodge legal issues. This game remains a classic example of how far developers will go to create a sensation, even if it means bending the rules of originality to their breaking point. Which of these iconic video game clones surprised you the most? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights into the gaming universe.